So, I don't know about you guys, what you've been doing during this pandemic, but for me, what I've been doing is I've been watching a lot, and I mean a lot, of the Godzilla movies. And so, naturally being such a big Godzilla fan, once I watched, around 28 movies, I was like, okay, I gotta shake things up a bit. And so that is the topic of today's video. Now, before we continue, I want to apologize for the audio quality. I know my audio quality is never very good. Please excuse the microphone over here. I'm working with a very limited setup. But yeah, today we are talking about Godzilla Tokyo Clash. I know you probably expected me to talk about a Godzilla video game. We did not get any Godzilla video games, but this game right here did release just last year in 2020, and it grabbed my attention. I'm not usually the type of person who gets board games or plays board games, but, I had binge-watched, 28 Godzilla movies in the past few months, and I figured, something about this game just grabbed my attention. So, first of all, I think let's just take a moment to appreciate this great box art right here. It's really, I just love the aesthetic, the artwork, the Gojira in Japanese next to the Godzilla. It looks so pleasing and, aesthetically nice, you know what I mean? Let's take a look at the back. Here's the back. It comes with these 4 figurines here. And here's the setup. And you know what? Let's just stop beating around the bush and get into it. Let's jump in. When you open it up, you'll notice this isn't brand new. I've opened it up and played a few games, but for the sake of because I'm the type of person who likes to keep things very neat and organized. This is basically what you would see when you open it up for the first time, except for this. This is just a container that I had lying around, so I decided to use it to store some pieces. But basically, you got the instruction manual, and I'm not going to explain the whole game because it gets surprisingly complicated. It's like a strategy game, but I figured I'll do a setup, and I think once I set the game up, you'll have get some sort of idea of what's going on and how to play the game. Okay, so what you're seeing here is it's sort of the beginning of the setup for a basic 2-player game. This game is 2 to 4 players, and this is the 2-player setup. Well, it's not the complete 2-player setup, but it's the beginning of the 2-player setup. I'm doing the 2-player setup because, as you can see, the board is basically composed of these polygonal pieces here, and you assemble them according to... I have the instruction manual. You can see there are different setups. The 2-player is the smallest, then you get 3-player and 4-player. And I hear the more people you play with, the better the game is, but unfortunately it's been... As you can imagine, it's pretty difficult to gather up more than 4 people. So I have attempted to play a few games with the limited in the limited times we have here. So this is just the beginning of the 2-player setup, and I'll set up a bit more of it now. Now, with this being an attempt to imitate Japanese monster movies, you have a lot of these pieces here. These sort of various building pieces which are going to get destroyed. Right here, this is the power plant piece, and as you can see, each of them has a sort of different symbol on the bottom, depending on what type of building it is. So I'm going to set these up, and then I'll sort of explain what each one is like. So here we have the next step in our setup process. As you can see, I've set up some of the buildings. There are designated spaces to put these buildings on. For example, we have a skyscraper here, and you can see there's a little spot where it's designated that you put the skyscraper. Very similar for, stuff like radar dishes, power plants, military bases. They each have their special spots that go on the designated polygons. In fact, I can take one piece here, and if the camera would focus, thank you, you can see this is the spot where you would put a power plant. And these little spots here where you put the smaller buildings, which are in the form of, hold on, my little container, little cardboard chips like these. If the camera would focus, camera, please focus. No? Okay, we're finally getting there. It's still focusing on the wrong thing. Here, what if I put this down? This is unprofessional video making quality if I've ever seen one. It won't focus. Why will it not focus? This is very annoying. Okay, just there. That's one of the smaller houses, and they also have these little numbers on the bottom. And I know this is all very confusing, and you have no idea what's going on. I'm doing a terrible job explaining, but hang on. We're getting to the cool part. Just wait till we get to the cool part, and it'll be all worth it. So here's the cool... It's still out of focus. You gotta be kidding me. Focus in. Just focus, camera. Focus. Come on, please. No, you're not gonna focus on the... Why do I know there's probably a manual focus on this camera, and yet it's not even doing anything. I swear... It comes with these figurines. These figurines are the cool part about it, okay? That's what I was building up to. They're really cool. They're like really well sculpted, even though you can't see because it's all blurry. Just take my word for it that they're really cool figurines and they're really nice. And whatever. Anyway, I'll put one there. And it comes with 4 figurines, as I'm sure you saw on the back of the box. If you're not a Godzilla fan, you'll have no idea. Well, you'll probably seen 1 or 2 or 3 of them around. This right here is King Ghidorah. Obviously, that one there is Godzilla, and I think the starting position for both of them is there if you're playing a 2-player game. We're busting out the manual, folks. I bumped the camera. This is not a professional video. Okay, we're busting out the manual. For the 2-player game... Oh, you start them over there? Okay. So King Ghidorah goes here. Godzilla goes here, I think. Yeah, that's about right. So... This is basically a mostly your setup for a 2-player game. Now you might be thinking, this looks a bit simplistic. How do I do all of this? Well, folks, we're really not we're really nowhere close to done setting up this game because we also have, if I can reach it, we have this. We're busting into all the complicated mechanics now. So now that you have your board set up, this is where we get into stuff like... I was not organized for this video, I apologize. So, we get stuff like these, character... I don't want to call them character cards, but they're sort of like character sheets, sort of. So, each player gets their own character... Maybe character mat, maybe? I'll just call them character cards. And there's 4, 1 for each character or kaiju. You got Megalon... Mothra, we already saw Godzilla and King Ghidorah, and basically, you can see there's an energy here, and an energy meter, I guess you could say, and the game comes with a little cube, and you place a little cube on top of the 2, and you can go from anywhere up from 0 to 12, and you've probably figured out due to the color coding, each building has a number at the bottom. If my camera will focus, thank you. Each building has a number at the bottom or something thereupon, and you gain energy when you destroy a building. And now you're probably wondering, well, with all this energy, what do you do with this energy? And keep in mind, folks, there's a ton of other stuff on this card that I'm not going over because this game gets complicated. Maybe if you're really hardcore into board games, then it won't seem complicated to you, but to me this was really complicated, and I know you're probably watching this video thinking, well, it doesn't seem that complicated so far. I haven't even explained how to play yet. Now that we looked at the character cards, we can look at the character cards. So each kaiju monster, for those of you not familiar with the language, each kaiju gets their own deck of cards, and they're all color-coded. So, since Megalon's on the top here, I think we should look at the Megalon deck. And here you can see there's the Godzilla deck, the King Ghidorah deck, the Mothra deck. There we go. I bumped the microphone. I'm sorry. Would you please focus, camera? Thank you. So here, what is the I got a Godzilla card in my Megalon deck. Anyway. So you can see the number at the top here. That's how much energy it costs to use up the card. And you can see there's various moves. These little symbols for movement, for attack, for... Where was the defense? For defense, right there. And each card has sort of... You can all see it's like original art. It's really nice, like original artwork, which I really appreciate. They could have been cheap and taken screenshots from the movies, but, you know, they didn't, and I appreciate the extra work they put in. So now you're probably thinking, okay, I get the basics, I can figure out how to play, it seems pretty simple. No, we're still not done. Because we have these. These are, I guess, event cards is what I would call them. You can see we got Rush Hour, Armored Assault, Airstrike, Zillion Invasion. If you haven't seen the movies, you're probably like, what the heck is that? We got Lightning Generators, Naval Bombardment, Rush Hour again. Anyway, so basically what happens is you take 2 of these cards. Is this all of them? Is there only 5? Why did I think there were 6? Let's see. Okay. Here we go. Here's the page on the instruction manual. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6. There are 6 cards. Okay, there are 6 event cards. Am I missing one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I do have 6. Am I... What? Okay, I do have 6 cards here. I do have all 6. I feel really dumb. Anyway, so there's all 6, and what you do every game is you pick 2. I think they recommend Rush Hour and Armored Assault if you're just beginning out. You pick 2 every game, and they basically will affect the battlefield. For example, let's look at Rush Hour, if the camera will focus. Thank you, camera. And you can see here, the player who is last in the turn order moves each train. Well, that tells you what you got to do. You got to put trains down on the thing. And there are tons of cardboard pieces for these trains, too. I'm all out of focus now. Camera, there you go. Slowly focusing. I wish this is a manual focus camera. It's just automatic focus, and I don't know how to change it. So let's say you'll take these 2 cards. These will be your event cards for the game. Rush Hour and Armored Assault. And you're gonna take them. And you're going to do whatever the card says. They're double-sided. They got instructions for what you got to do. This one's, you know, put trains down, put tanks down. And these will affect the game in some way. For example, let's say, you know, you got your kaiju, and they're in the same place as a tank, or the same space. This is divided into spaces, you know. You can see. You have eyes. Let's say they're in the same spot as a tank, they're going to get done 1 damage via that tank. So, we're almost done, folks. I'm trying to explain this game as quickly as I can, but it's very difficult. So, here, this is the Oxygen Destroyer board. And if you haven't even seen the original Godzilla, I don't know how I can even explain this. Basically, hang on. See if we can just... Okay, this is destroying the city. Okay, hang on. So, I got my Oxygen Destroyer board at the bottom here. This is normally where you would put it, but this is not... If I had a full table, then this would be much easier to set up, but I'm working with limited space here. So, what you're going to do is you're going to take your oxygen destroyer token, which is this. If the camera would focus. Camera, are you going to focus this time? Please? Maybe? A little bit? No. Okay. So you're going to start it there, and then every round. So basically, this game is comprised of things called... you take turns, and then there's however many turns in a round. Once each player decides to pass on their turn, that's the end of the round. And at the end of the round, you move the oxygen destroyer one space, and it gets closer and closer to ending the game. Now, what is the goal of this game, you might be wondering? Because as far as I'm aware, I don't know if you can actually destroy or hurt your opponent. The goal of the game, basically, remember those... Okay, this is... I know you can't see because you have this limited range of this camera, but my area is just a total mess. So, please focus, camera. Okay, so going back to the cards, as you can see, at the bottom here, each one has like a little crown with a number. Let's see here. So this one has a 1, this one has a 2, this is a 1. And basically what you do throughout the game is you basically collect the other player's cards, and at the end, when the oxygen destroyer sort of reaches its inevitable destination or whatever, the game ends, and you count up... Okay, focus, camera. You count up all the other cards you collected from the other players, and you count up these numbers, and whoever has the highest number basically wins the game. Now, what I've neglected to mention up till this point is that there's also this, the King of the Monsters token, which sort of gets passed around with all the other players, but as you can see it... Okay, focus. There we go. Thank goodness. It also has a little number plus a 1 card, so as you can see, this sort of complicates the game, or gives you an advantage depending on who has what, and that's basically a rundown of some of the rules of this game. Yeah, it's... I don't think I did a very good job with explaining it. I gotta be honest, this was an unscripted video, and the only reason I got so excited about this game was because I thought the little character figurines were really cool. So, maybe we'll just take an up-close look at some of the character figurines. How about that? Alright, so I figured we'd get a bit more up-close and personal with these figurines. As you can see, I have Godzilla and King Ghidorah here, and honestly, for, like, little figurines that come with a game, I think these are really, like, pretty detailed, as you can see. I'll rotate Godzilla around here so you get a good look. Here's the back of King Ghidorah. Now, obviously, these are not the only 2 kaiju which come in this set. You can probably hear the bag taking out Megalon here. And once again, the camera does not like to focus on what I want it to focus on. Let's see if I can get him. There we go. So you can probably see Megalon is also pretty detailed. This guy appeared... He doesn't... It's a really weird choice as to choose Megalon, because he only appears in, like, 1 movie, and it's not even a movie which is very well regarded, as far as I know. Now, the final kaiju this comes with is... Move aside. Is Mothra. And as you can see, she doesn't really, she doesn't really have the best posture, let's just say. But she comes with a little stand. And seriously, just focus on Mothra, camera. There you go. Oh, hey, you know what? That actually looks really good with her, like, leaning back like that. That looks pretty good. But anyway, basically, Mothra comes with this little stand, and as you can see, there's a lot of good detail on Mothra, especially in the wings as well. But yeah, so Mothra comes with this little stand, and there's this hole, and you just... For some reason, I don't know if it's just mine,
that is like this, but it like I have a hard time like sticking it in, um, and even okay, so there we go. And even now that it's stuck in, it feels a bit loose. Like it feels a bit loose, if you know what I mean. Like I don't. It doesn't really feel like it's securely in there. So I don't know if it's just mine that wound up like that, but it definitely doesn't feel like the most secure uh, thing in the world. But yeah. So here's just a look at all four of them. Uh, I know, like earlier on, you didn't get. It was really hard to see, the camera was out of focus, so you didn't get a good look at them. This was a very like sort of almost sloppy, unscripted video. I probably should have put more prep time into it, but I just thought this was a really cool board game. Uh, would I recommend? If you're a Godzilla fan, you might be interested in it. If you're into board games, then I let me know. Let me know what you think of it if you've played it or if you're interested down in the comments below. That's all for now, and thank you for watching.